recording.
Should I tell the story now?
Yeah.
Do you want to say what we're talking about, or?
Yeah, well, I just thought it was very interesting. Andrea from the Bloomington Catholic Worker who I'm talking to, that one of your favorite things in the world, you said, was mending.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting, and I also thought, like, it made me think of the Peter Morin's craft-based society and stuff like that, and so I thought it'd be interesting to hear some thoughts from a passionate mender.
I would love to share some thoughts, as I am a passionate mender. I'm going to tell you that story because I'm going to forget, but
Tell me the story.
So Ross and I volunteer every Monday at the local day shelter for people in extreme poverty. And Ross plays chess, and I do mending of varieties of things that the guests have. And so bags have been really big, and winter coats, and then pants and shirts as well. But bags and winter coats have been the big ones. But this woman, she was from New Jersey. I wish I could speak as thickly as she did with a New Jersey accent. But she came and she was like, "This is my favorite coat, and look at it." And there was this like stain, that like everybody's got stains on their clothes. And I was like, well, what I can do about that is I can put a patch of fabric over that. And she was like, well, that would just look silly. I'm not going to walk around with a patch. And I was like, well, let me show you the fabrics that I have. And so I laid out my fabrics, which are all like very colorful in different ways. Didn't match her coat at all. But I have some owl fabric. And she was like, oh, I want the cherry tree fabric. The owl fabric. She was just very like dramatic, and I was like, I will do the owl fabric. And so I sewed on this little patch. There was like, I just cut out the owl kind of perfectly, and I sewed this patch on her coat. And I took it to her. I had to like find her at the Shalom Center, and I was like, hey, Fran, I got your coat done, and here it is. There was this cute little owl on her coat. She was like, that is amazing. I'm going to bring you strawberry muffins. And I was like, okay, that was great. But she like loved it. So then she put it on, and she was going around the Shalom Center being like, look at my coat, she did it. Bring your stuff to her to mend. And she was just like preaching about it. That was my favorite Shalom story. Anyway.
Nice. Some free advertising there.
I slipped her a little something on the side to make sure people would keeping me in work. But yeah. You should ask me a question about mending.
Yeah. Well, I should. I mean, that story is interesting too, because, so often people have something wrong with their stuff in our society. It's just like, toss it out. But here's like an example where she was even like, it was improved by this patch. Like, she was even more excited about it, You're
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's words for such a thing. Like the pottery that you mend with the gold glittery glue. I think it's maybe Japanese, I don't know. But some, like the beauty of the crack being mended by the gold is culturally, and people are like, obviously that's an improvement. And that's totally how I feel about mending. Because if you put a little happy patch or a little splash of color on something and you've saved it, then that's an improvement, and it looks so cute. And it's often people will, it can be a conversation piece, but even beyond that, I just feel like for me it's just an improvement in the beauty of it. Why not add like a little cherry tree or a little owl on there and be like, oh, that's a little spot of joy. And so I will say, we started volunteering at the Shalom Center because when we were on our sabbatical this summer, we went to Lilies and Sparrows, this community, and one of the women there was talking about where she worked at their day shelter and was saying that there was a woman who did mending. And I'm realizing now, it was kind of like next level mending. I don't know if you noticed on Monday at the Shalom Center that the trash can often has, like, people will come out of the showers and just throw their clothes in the trash can. So this woman that we first learned about would wash the clothes then mend them if needed, and then put them back into the donation rotation. So that's like next level. That may happen. Right now, what I'm doing is anything someone's currently wearing that needs to be fixed, I will work on it. But there is such a pervasive throwaway culture no matter what economic class you're in. And there's often just the large trash cans full of clothes at the Shalom Center that I have this like, I could, not really in the amount of time that I have. So anyway, just focusing on the mending of things that people are currently wearing, and I'm not pulling things out of the trash.
Yeah.
But maybe a year from now, if you interview me again, I'll be like, yeah, and I wash the things and then I mend them. Who knows?
Yeah. Is mending, sewing something you grew up with? How'd you get into it?
That's a good question. I'm not sure who would know the answer other than me, but I can't think of it. I didn't grow up doing it at all. My mom was kind of like, she used the word forced, but my mom was forced to make her own clothes growing up. So she always told me, like, don't sew, it's terrible. Drudgery, it's the worst work you can think of. So she never had me sew because of her bad experiences with it. And I didn't sew anything until high school. And I don't remember what I remember starting with pillowcases, I think. Oh, my friend Jennifer, who was super cool, took a home ec class, and then she showed us all a skirt one day, and I was just like, what? You could like make a cool skirt? It just hadn't really crossed my mind. So then I was like, man, I should do that. So then I started fiddling around, sewing basic square things, and I thought, oh, this is really fun. So I did some sewing in college. My mom got me a sewing machine when I graduated high school. And then I didn't really do much. I'm trying to think, did mending come about as a necessity because all of our children wear out the knees in their pants, or not? I feel like I was doing a lot of knee mending. But at what point I was like, it didn't start out being the best thing ever, but now it's like I want to be mending all the time, and it is the best thing ever. I don't know what exactly that progression was. I'd say I've been solid doing it for 3 or 4 years, something like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, in our culture, the normal thing nowadays would be just to get rid of those pants with the hole in the knee and not mend it.
Mm-hmm.
Was that just like a practical Catholic worker, simple living thing that kind of forced you to start doing it?
Yeah, I mean, we get the young kids' clothes from this place called Once Upon a Child, so it's used kids' clothing, so it's very affordable. But we did spend money on it, and I can't afford to let those pants not be in use. I mean, I have like all the boys have like 4 pairs of pants for every season, you know, that sort of thing. So I can't not have those pants in rotation. I mean, it's definitely a money thing. Now it's also a beauty thing, but the practicality of it has always been a part of it. And like this sweater is like the one wool sweater I own, and you can't really, I hate shopping, so I don't actually want to go to secondhand shops to keep looking for the perfect thing that I would find soul-sucking. So since I have a wool sweater, there was like 2 years ago, I was like, I have to figure out how to mend it. So that's a money thing, but it's also just I hate shopping as a personality thing. So you could get a cheap one, I'm sure, at a secondhand shop, but I don't want to spend the time doing that.
Do you see it as living into your Catholic worker values beyond just the practicalness of it?
I would say yes. I mean, the nature of crafting, I think in the culture in the kind of microculture that we live in here at the Catholic worker, it's a very, like on Wednesday morning during our business meeting, probably someone will be sewing something or mending something. And so it wouldn't be a strange thing. But like today when I was at the library, I realized at one point, I was like, oh, I'm walking around and I got mending here and I got mending here. Like, I wonder what people are thinking when they look over and they're like, look at all the mismatching patches. Maybe nothing. But I think the skills of rescuing items or prolonging the life of items or fixing items are very important and definitely part of the Catholic workers. The mentality of being able to do work, to be able to do meaningful work. So this meaningful work, again, like fixes or prolongs or makes more beautiful an item. So there's so many great things about it. But we all need to be able to do something useful. And I've said this week at one point, I said to Ross, I was like, oh gosh,